We're mixing it up and we're doing a bit of a tier list. I'm leaving that in. Whoa. All right, we're doing a tier list style video here. We're doing a bit of a top 5 ranking of the greatest super fights to never have happened. Okay, now if you ask me this question of, hey, what are the best super fights? These are the 5 that came to my mind immediately, right away. I did not take long to make this freaking like put these guys together because it's fights I immediately thought of when you asked me this. I will say it's going to be a bit old school style fights. I can make another video about some new age, but just you asking me personally, greatest super fights never happened. These come to mind. Number 5, DJ versus TJ. Okay, this fight was rumored. It was offered. Both guys, TJ was down. DJ said, no way, I need more money. Fight didn't happen, right? In hindsight, obviously, this is going to be hindsight. What a ball-dropping moment for DJ, You go out there against TJ, who was very drained at 25. You would have beat him 100%. We saw how easily Henry got it done. You would have beat him at 25 for sure. Would have been the best one on your record. Would have elevated you to another level. Man, I wish he would have taken it, but he did not. And if I could have made this super fight, obviously, I would have preferred to be at 35 because I think, TJ is just too drained at 25. At 35, I think it would have been way more competitive. I honestly might have leaned TJ if this did happen at 35. Nonetheless, crazy fight. Wish it would have happened. What a high-level fight it would have been, okay? Speaking of high-level fights, number 4, Khabib and Usman, right? Now, this fight, for me, man, it is one of those fights that you're like, and we might get a very similar thing if Usman does get the shot against Islam, which will still be great, but prime for prime, I mean, this fight, both guys champ at the same time. It could have happened if Khabib moved up. Oh, man, it would have been crazy. I honestly might have leaned towards Usman for the simple fact that just looking at what he's done now in total, look at Usman, how well he did against Hamzat, stopping shots, stopping, the grappling exchanges as the fight went on, surviving dangerous spots. And that was a out of prime Usman, short notice, a weight class up against Hamza, who's so much bigger than Islam and Khabib. So I think if these guys would have fought, it would have been a super fun, crazy scrap, a lot of good grappling exchanges. And I think we would have seen, Khabib start off strong, slow down, Usman pick it up. And I think Usman would have got the decision if it went down, right? Speaking of another great super fight here, let's go on to number 3. We're talking about Khabib again, but this time against GSP, okay? Now this was another rumored fight that almost could have happened, but just for whatever reason, they couldn't get it done. And it was rumored at 55, right? And I think at 55, Khabib would have beat him. I don't think GSP dropping down, cutting extra weight to make 55 for the first time against someone as strong of a grappling base as Khabib would have went well. But at 70, I think it would have went well. I think at 170, it's still a very close fight, 50-50 type fight. I just think GSP, the skill set he already had, was great when you think about matching him up against, Khabib. But then you think about the preparation he would have had. He would have had Danaher in the corner. He would have had, Gordon Ryan in the camp preparing him for the grappling exchanges. I think he would have been so well prepared for this fight that it probably would have been like a very close decision. But I would have said maybe GSP gets it done. All right, number 2 now. This is where I get, my voice shakes. I tremble because I get nervous thinking about this one. Jon Jones, Cain Velasquez, another fight that, could have happened, a super fight. Both guys champ at the same time. Prime for prime, this fight would have been insane. I don't think about this fight as like the version of Jon who fought Cyril Gane, who, a little flat, a little soft around the belly. You got to think about the prime Jon Jones. If he moved up, put the weight on proper, went in there looking, just like a real in-shape, athletic heavyweight. Cain Velasquez, we know how scary this guy was. Just the power, the wrestling, the pressure, the cardio, C-level Cain. Like I would have picked Jon Jones to get it done by a decision, a very, scary war of a decision. I think this would have been a war if it happened. But I would have said, Jon has more tools. The fight IQ is real high. I think he would have probably been able to edge it out in a very close decision. But man, would I have been nervous the entire time because, Cain at his best, monster. He was a marauder. I would have been nervous to see him against anybody because this guy was scary as can be. So this fight here, honestly, as far as entertainment wise, this probably would be number 1 for me. But I have to be honest, nostalgia gets the best. I mean, number 1 spot, it's got to go to GSP Anderson Silva, right? This is going to be a bit of a cliche. This might be a cliche list, You might look at this and say these are obvious. Maybe they are. I'm not sure. But these are just my honest thoughts of what the best ones are. And this one here at number 1, it's hard not to put it there for me, because I remember both guys at their best, both guys champ, prime for prime, pound for pound. at the top of the list these guys were at the same time, and this fight was close to happening. When Anderson was fighting Chris Weidman, there was a narrative that he gets through Chris Weidman, this is the fight they want to book. Maybe they'll do a catch weight, It was very much so in the talks of going down, and it just didn't go through. And it was upsetting, when Anderson lost to Chris Weidman, this fight was done, and it was just very heartbreaking. And I hold some resentment against Chris Weidman for it. But nonetheless, this fight, just the name, imagine being able to look back and see these guys on a poster, how insane that would have been. The build up, the face-offs, both guys at their best, pound for pound, number one, number two type fight. Oh, woo. I wish it went down. It did not. And I will say, hindsight, looking back, this probably would have not been a very entertaining fight. It probably could have been a pretty snoozer type fight. But it's just the status both guys had that makes this fight so insane for me. Even to this day, well, Anderson, I guess so. Even to this day, these guys are still looked at as pound for pound greats. As far as like in the top 5 to some people, GSP's still in the top 5 of a lot of people's list. Anderson, so he did fall down a little bit, but at one point this guy was number 1, undeniable. And this fight here is, if I could ever go back in time and make a fight happen of all the fights, it would be hard not to put this one together. This is my list. This is what I think. You might disagree. You might agree. You might want to move these around. Who knows? I know there's some honorable mentions like Pettis, Aldo, and Brock Lesnar, Fedor was talked. Those are crazy names. Blah blah blah. For me, this is my top freaking 5.